I think the first complete ring cycle I ever saw was the one that I directed. I had never seen it, all four operas in one. I'd seen them all, but not in one cycle.
And did that enable you to come to it with a freshness that maybe other directors might not be able to claim?
No, I don't think so. Because the ring, it's just so huge. And even if you think that well, first of all, nobody working on it ever thinks actually that they have a complete understanding of it. But even if you think that you have a vague grasp of the events of one of the operas, you discover that it's only when you work on it that you really get in there, that you understand, you come to some understanding of what Wagner's intentions are and what he wants. What you discover with Wagner is that he never, the contrary to so many other composers, he doesn't want you ever to think that it could only just be that. So much of his art, while telling a story, of course, is also making you constantly aware that what you are watching or listening or intuiting is only the tip of the iceberg, and God knows how big the iceberg is.
Is it possible remotely to encapsulate or summarize Wagner's entire cultural and musical significance?
I think Wagner means a lot of different things. Opera is so subjective anyway, because you have, of course, the concrete essence of the words, which are then turned into a completely emotional substance by the music. And we may all be able to understand German or understand German when it's translated into surtitles, but the language of Wagner, the musical language, will mean always something different to each listener. And for some people, it will be a transporting, extraordinary, wildly enriching thing. And for other people, it will be almost unbearable because it's too much, or it's too Teutonic, or it's too whatever. So people have very different and very violent relationships to this music. And it cannot really leave anyone indifferent. Also, the scale and the length of it and the hugeness of it all is very daunting. It's daunting for performers, it's daunting for an audience, it's daunting for everyone really. But the scale of his art, really the sense that he was plugged into something that just could not be contained.
In this bicentenary year, you have actually directed the other bicentenarian with Rigoletto. How do they stand in relation to each other for you?
You know, these anniversaries are I think they're very consoling to us on our short little passage here. It doesn't actually, well, no, it does mean something. It means the way in which, because I think time really finds everything out. I would say that in both the case of Wagner and Verdi, when they both appeared on the scene, they were of such evidence and of such power that there wasn't any question of, it wasn't up for discussion, other than that they were absolutely vital. I mean, Verdi is really the musical essence of Italy in some way. Wagner also encapsulates a great deal of the essence of the German psyche. That has not changed from when, in either case, from when they first appeared to now. I think if you look at other composers in similar time frames to them are, you know, I was just thinking, gosh, it's 100 years since Salome was premiered, thinking of Strauss or Puccini. The way in which we respond to those works, of course, it's going to be different in every culture in every country, but Wagner and Verdi, I don't think it's really changed. These two giants have remained as important as they were, even if they had a great deal of difficulty being understood when they first appeared. People knew that they were in the presence of something absolutely that was going to change things.
final question. If you can imagine Wagner here in the Paris Opera now, and you could put a question to him, if there was something that you would like him to explain to you.
Gosh, that's a very interesting question. You mean to do with the ring, or just to do with his work?
Anything you want.
I would ask him if we could make some cuts in the ring. When we did the ring in Cologne, I remember on a couple of occasions saying, well, couldn't we just cut a little bit in here? Or sometimes it would be something simple as a singer would be getting tired and wouldn't be able to manage it, and you just knew if you just trimmed this little bit. And you know, in some of his operas there are cuts. There are cuts in Tannhäuser's, there are cuts that he, probably also in Lohengrin, I can't quite remember, that he approved of. But there aren't any in the ring, and of course it's completely out of the question. So I would ask him for the future to tell me what cuts would be possible, and he might say none, but then we would know.